I'm Savannah Vilas with the Devil's Advocate. Due to daylight savings and their freezing temperatures, seasonal affective disorder, otherwise known as SAD, begins to affect many people with over 3 million cases per year. Today we're asking people who might have more knowledge on this subject and their thoughts.
So seasonal depression or seasonal affective disorder is caused by numerous different things. Typically, it is caused by the changing of light patterns. When individuals wind up having a chronic low-grade depression due to the amount of light that they are exposed to, it's typically due to a vitamin deficiency. There are numerous different ways that you can attempt to deal with helping individuals with seasonal depression, one of them being called phototherapy, which are special light bulbs placed in the individual's house that synthesize real natural sunlight. They're incredibly expensive, so not everyone can afford them. A good rule of thumb as to how to deal with seasonal depression is to try and stay on schedule with sleep, get used to the new lighting patterns, and at least attempt to get a little bit of natural sunlight throughout your daily life. I particularly feel I get a tinge of it because I hate the winter. It could be the fact that I hate the cold, or I hate the fact that it's dark as often as it is. And it affects certain people more than others.
While SAD is a fairly recent term, the connection between depression and coldness has been studied extensively in literature. Being cold, both literally and figuratively, has been symbolic to being numb. And that's something we see in literature all the time. Obviously, as an English teacher, we would know that. As an advisor to the Lit Mag and to the Diversity Club, I would not be shocked to find out that a lot of my students suffer from SAD. My mom has mentioned at times that when she's away from sunlight, she feels sadder, and I think that's certainly the case. I'm not exactly sure what would help someone with SAD, but I do know a lot about mental illness, and I do know that everyone feels better with a little sunlight each day. Getting a little sunlight even on a cold day is beneficial for some people.
I'm a man that lives with mental illness, so I'm very familiar with it. I can relate to this. I think one of the reasons why I live in South Carolina, I moved 5 years ago from Boston, is simply because the weather is nicer. I'm not a cold weather person. I also think that being outside in nature makes me feel better. The sun, I think, plays a significant role in our mental well-being. Whether it's being outside in nature, going for a walk, or sitting and appreciating. And if that's something that you can't do, I'll tell you what I think is important. They have like lights that you can buy, sun tanning. There are times when, sometimes in the winter even, it's a little bit chilly in Myrtle Beach. I do tanning in the month of like middle of December right until the middle of January. One of the reasons I'm home, I'm in a new routine, I'm in a new environment, I'm working in the office. So what I try and do is get out and get some sunlight. Seasonal affective disorder, I think it's something that you really got to pay attention to. And you might notice that if you're having thoughts of sadness or depression, one of the questions to ask yourself, is it at a certain time of the year? That's something that you might want to acknowledge, and you might recognize that that might be an issue.
So what I know about seasonal depression is that it happens mainly during the fall and winter seasons. I know that it can affect everyone differently depending on where you are, what's happening and stuff like that. It also can affect you depending on where you live. So it doesn't have to be during the fall and winter seasons. It could be during a rainy drought or something like that, if that makes sense. For me, I notice a change, especially when it hits winter time, when I know I can't go out as much or I can't hang out with my friends as much due to the snow or something like that. With friends, I would say yeah, mainly because I know a lot of people do like to go out during the summertime, and that's mainly their hangout period. And when winter comes along, you're stuck in school, or you're stuck at home, or you're stuck at work, and you can't really hang out with anybody. So yeah, I see a difference. I think trying to make winter plans with all your friends really helps. Going out to the movies, going ice skating, getting hot chocolate at a coffee shop, I feel as though that really helps. But knowing that you aren't alone also helps, because if you realize that you're not alone with your seasonal depression and that it can be helped and that your friend could be going through the exact same thing really helps a lot. So,
Even though December and the coldest months of the year are normally known for happy times with holidays like Christmas, make sure to check in with your friends and family and make sure they're okay also during the coldest times of the year. I'm Savannah Vilas signing out with the Devil's Advocate.